Okay, here's a couple of examples for our special right triangles. The first thing you always want to do is identify which type of triangle you're dealing with. So this problem, I'm dealing with a 45, 45, 90 triangle. And so if you go back to your notes, you'll see that this is the situation. We have S, S, and then S times radical 2. So the hypotenuse is what I'm looking for here. So it's basically just going to be the length of the side times radical 2. And that's all there is to that one. So that length is simply 9 radical 2. Over here, I've got a length of a leg, which is 2 radical 2. Again, a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So this side is going to equal the length of the side, 2 radical 2, times another radical 2. Well, that's going to be 2 times radical 4, which is 2 times 2. So x is simply going to be 4 in this situation. A couple more examples. Here's another 45, 45, 90 triangle, but this time I give you the hypotenuse, ask you to find the length of the leg. Well, as in multiplying the leg by radical 2, wouldn't it make sense to divide the hypotenuse by radical 2 to get the length of the leg? So there's our answer, but we, of course, have to rationalize that, simplify it. We can't have a radical in the denominator. So to do that, I multiply by the denominator over the denominator. What that's going to do for me is the denominator will be radical 4, which is just 2 without the radical. The numerator will be 6 times radical 2, and then we can simplify the fraction from there, and we get 3 radical 2 as our length for this leg. That's a little more difficult. And then over here, I'm looking for D and F. So first of all, I have to identify that this is the short leg and this is the long leg. And remember, the long leg is identified as S radical 3. So the long leg, which is 5, is I should make that look like a 5, is equal to S radical 3. And S would be this, so I'm going to change that to D because that's the length of the short leg. So to get D, I divide by radical 3. So that's going to cancel that. We will get D equaling 5 radical 3. Again, we have to rationalize. So we come up here, and we do radical 3 over radical 3, and we get 5 radical 3 over 3. That's radical 9, which becomes 3. So that's the length of D. So that's 5 radical 3 over 3. So there's the length of D. This length, of course, is 5. This length is twice as long as this one. So we're going to basically take 5 radical 3 over 3 times 2 over 1. The 2's actually cancel. That leaves me with 5 radical 3. Oops, didn't write that correctly, did I? Leaves me as 5 times radical 3 as the value for F. So D is 5 radical 3 divided by 3. And this is actually wrong because I wrote this wrong, didn't I? This is wrong. So the long leg is twice as much as that. So let me come back down here and write this as 5 radical 3 over 3 times 2 over 1. Those didn't cancel because I wrote that wrong. This becomes 10 radical 3 over 3. So this, the value of F is actually 10 radical 3 over 3. My apologies. There's the length of F. There's the length of D. And there, of course, was the given length of the long leg. And there's the notes and the examples you want to take a look at for section H2.